If you clicked on this video, chances are you don't have any friends, or you don't have any friends who are willing to film you, so you end up filming yourself. As lonely and frustrating as it may be, I actually think it's a good thing. I become the director, the DP, and the talent, meaning I get to decide what's in the frame and how that person acts. In this video, I'm going to go over my perspective on solo filmmaking. I'm going to show you some of the techniques that I use to film myself, and I'm going to show you how I use those techniques to actually create cohesive, compelling, and cinematic videos. What is up, everyone? My name is Mac and I'm a videographer and video editor, and I have spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to film myself, mainly because I have not ever had a crew or a group of friends to film me. Maybe like once or twice, but majority, no. I've done everything from making my own short film documentaries, vlogging, and documenting my own life when I travel. I think the first thing you need to think of when it comes to filming yourself is that you need to control what you can control. Because you are setting up the camera, most likely on a tripod, like how I'm filming it right now, and then just pressing record and then going into frame. It eliminates everything that relates to actually holding the camera. And that's a good thing and it's a bad thing. The bad thing is that you can't do certain movements, like you can't actually pan it, tilt it. But the good thing is that you don't really have to focus on that part. Instead, you will focus on the things that you actually can control besides from holding a camera, and that is a lot of things: composition, lighting, framing, acting, and I will go over this list right now. For example, if I'm outdoor, I obviously can't control the weather, but I can look at the weather app and see what the weather is going to be for that week or for that day, and I can plan out when the most ideal time for shooting is. Personally, I'm not that fan of filming during the day. I don't like the sun being harsh. You know, you get warm and you sweat and you're already dealing with gear and production, and I don't think during the day is the most flattering image that you can get. I'm more a fan of golden hour, sunset, or even nighttime, because I just feel those times are more moody, they drive out more emotions. But obviously I shoot a lot during the day. It makes sense because it's bright and you can actually see. So I can't control the weather, sadly I can't. But I can control where to set up the shots, which way the camera should shoot, where the sun to hit me. There's a lot of other things you can control to make the best out of what you have. Typically, this is how you set up a shot during the day. You place yourself or subject between the sun and the camera, and you shoot on the shadow side. Instead of shooting here, I would shoot on this side, and that creates a dynamic and cinematic shot. If I were to have the same position, meaning I would be in the same position and the sun would be in the same position, but I would just move the camera to this side, shooting the non-shadow side, it would just be a very flat looking image with no dimension. And when I shoot inside, I obviously use my own lights, or my one light that I have right here that is lighting me up right now. But the same rules apply for inside. It's just easier to control because you're not dependent on the sun. Little break. I have not had lunch, so protein shake it is. Not sponsored, but these are the best protein shakes. Another method to get beautiful looking images is with composition. Composition refers to the arrangement of elements within a frame to create a visually appealing shot. I think that was the best way to describe it, because it's hard to kind of describe what composition is. There are certain rules or guides within composition and within cinematography and photography that artists use to help them guide the image. And some of the rules that I use are these. The first rule is the rule of thirds. You probably heard about this. I would say this is the most known one. It's the first thing you learn about in like a photography 101 class. It basically is that you divide the image up into 9 equal parts, and you place the subject in the left or right part of the image. So it's slightly to the left or slightly to the right. I'm actually going to show you on the camera because I use my grid. I have a rule of third grid up because that's how I center myself. Here, rule of thirds. Here, rule of thirds. Here and here. But if I'm in the center like this video, I am not using this rule. Another rule I use is leading lines. It creates a path for the viewer so that they know where to look. And the last thing I use is center composition. That is basically just placing your subject in the middle of the composition, like right now, without using any form of composition, it often looks very messy. You don't know where to look, what is priority. It's just like things in the image. Composition just helps cleaning up the image, creating balance, which I'm all about because I'm a born Libra and we're all about balance both in cinematography and life. With everything I just mentioned, all of these shots can easily become very stagnant and boring because you just set them up on a tripod and obviously the camera does not move. Well, that is if you don't know how to make them interesting. The trick is to create movements in the image, and one of the ways you can do that is by the action itself. Having an action in every shot adds character to the image, and it also helps driving the story forward. It can be as easy as walking, it can be writing, it can be moving your head, it can be any action where you're just moving. The point is to create movement in the image because your camera can't move. I think it's cool when you include an action that actually supports the story instead of just doing random stuff. Action keeps the shot interesting because now the viewer has something to pay attention to and look forward to. It builds tension, climax, and that is what storytelling is. To follow up with everything I just said, let's talk about acting. Yes, this is not an acting course, but acting when you are filming yourself is very important. Do the action as you would do it in normal life. Obviously, try to not think about the camera staring at you right now. What helps me is to do the action several times. So many times that I actually forget that I'm filming, and then maybe in the middle or at the end of it, I have a great shot of me doing it. Personally, I see acting as a fun challenge. One, if I'm acting really well, then that obviously helps the story, the video. And two, when I was younger, I actually used to want to act. So I used to practice in the mirror. I used to read stuff, read myself lines. I used to just honestly come up with like random scenarios and just like act how I would say it or react. And I do a lot of that still today. Not with the intention of I want to become an actor. I mean, that would have been cool, but I kind of just gave up on that. I just always created scenarios in my head and I like saying them out loud. I think a lot of people do. If you do, let me know. Comment below. If you want to switch it up, you can do something like this, which is known as the vlogging style. The benefits with this is that you get very personal and deep because you are actually looking directly to the camera, talking with your audience, the viewer, and it's just nice to kind of switch up the point of view. While some people think vlogging is kind of cringe, it definitely has benefits. I think it's a cool look. Definitely something you can't just use all the time, but I think for certain parts where you really want to talk to the audience about something important, or if you're just on the go and you don't have time to necessarily set up the camera, set it on a tripod, look at the framing, all of that, and you just need to document the moment and say something like this, then this vlogging style is great because if you have a flip screen like me, you can just flip that screen out and you can see yourself. So it's a very safe shot. You know what you're getting. You can see it. One thing to keep in mind though, in order to get shots like this where you can actually see yourself and the background environment I'm in, you need a pretty wide angle lens. My main lens, the Tamron, only shoots up to 28mm, or that's the widest it shoots. So I don't think that lens is perfect for vlogging because I'm kind of zoomed in like this, but this is like an ultra wide angle lens. I'm also moving. I think movement and changing up the background, the environment is important. So this is great if you're in a city, if you're traveling. Another thing, vlogging like this, you definitely get tired. I feel it already in my arms. Now, the last thing on this list is something I see a lot of beginners overlook, and that is set design and wardrobe. If you want to elevate your videos and make them look like a movie, then understand that everything in the frame affects how the viewer thinks, feels, and just the overall impression. Even though this is just a YouTube video, I care a lot about the feel and the look of it. So I'm very intentional about what is actually in frame. That's why I have certain artwork, certain lamps, certain colors. It is all part of me, my style, what I like. And I want the viewer to get that feeling of really get to know me and understand who I am. Of course, when I'm outside, I don't have the luxury of actually designing my own space. I mean, I don't have any of these things outside. but you can still think about the location, what's in frame, if there's a building you like, if there's a color, like all of those things are important to take into consideration when it comes to your videos. Okay, I promise we're almost done. If you have made it this far, I appreciate you. You're a real fan, and thank you for watching my videos. Wardrobe is the one thing that I can 100% control both indoors and outdoors. I think most filmmakers, especially back in like the 2010 era, we all wore just black. And I'm not judging that because I did the same. I still wear just black in a lot of my videos because I think it's the safe choice. It separates you from the background because if you're outdoors, or in this case, if you have a white background, if you're wearing black, it just makes you stand out in a neutral way. But lately, I've been very passionate about color and color theory. Last year, I made the decision to actually change up what I wear in my videos. So I went from wearing black to a color, especially one bright color. I like blue. Blue is my favorite color. You see me wear blue in a lot of my videos, and I just love blue. So that's kind of my brand and signature. I do think that switching up my wardrobe has made a difference in my videos, at least for me, because now my videos look exactly how I want them to look. I struggled for a long time trying to find my style, and last year I kind of just found it. Just because you don't have anyone to film you, you can't let that be an excuse for why you're not making videos and doing what you love. I've been a solo filmmaker for a really long time, and honestly, I love it. There are times where I wish I can kind of just duplicate myself to film myself making videos and working on projects sort of like behind the scenes, because it's cool to see how things are being made. Hopefully this video helped you with solo filmmaking. I'm sorry if you don't have, friends to film you. I totally get it. But don't give up. I mean, honestly, just see it as an opportunity to wear many hats and to learn more things. That's it, folks. Until next time.